Alright, it is 9:42. I went ahead and did it. Just even though it doesn't really trade that nicely, I did trade PBYA, which I mean it had a tick here, a print go through at 129, but that was really about it. Right now I'm looking at not this one, ELIO. Okay, it's actually doing it right now. This could be a dip towards VWAP setup. Ideally it could maybe touch this 113 level. My risk is that it just breaks through it and it doesn't even try to hold it, or it might just be already too late. That was a quick drop. If you can see, they're all in the same minute here. Yeah, I might have missed this one. Ideally it would have dipped. I mean, maybe I'm being too picky, but ideally it would have dropped as low as 113. It did get to 115, and right now it's back into 130s. That's how crazy some of these are. It already had the dip towards VWAP setup, so I technically missed it right here. If it does it again, I won't be interested in it anymore, because the idea is that it's a first dip towards VWAP setup. Alright, I had this Degenerate trade here with PBYA, and I didn't trade the largest size. I made like $1.80, but I've just seen this thing do it so many times that I thought, you know what, even though it's a bit of a degenerate setup, I'll take it anyway. I got in at 1.2. It wasn't 126, it was like 1.255 at 9:38, which was right here in this green candle. I was in right here, and that was after we did have like a big volume candle. Sure, if I was trying to be extra picky, I could have tried to get an order executed at the bid, but instead I got in at 1.255, which to me is basically in the middle, and it goes through, it rounds up to 1.26 right here, and I held right, but I sold at this, I believe I sold in this candle. The order was placed there, but I wasn't executed until 9:40, which was right here at 1.26. Why? Because this next candle was a red candle. I mean, VWAP is right there at 127, and I'm getting it at 126. So obviously the range is horrible, right? And then I eventually got executed. It did do like an uptrend here, and then it did do like a tick up here. Then it closed at 126. So that was a trade there. I look forward to the day that we can start having morning panic bounce plays again. Some of these I might have removed because they're just not trading well. This one, I'm wondering what's going on with this one. RGSG is not doing anything. I wonder if it's just because it doesn't trade with much volume. LKNCY did have a gap down, right? Like what I was thinking. Just because this like, it's very, I don't even trade it, right? But I could just tell from everybody who mentions it, and when it's moving that day, it's a very toxic stock. But I mean, yeah, it did start off at 614, which was a gap up from 1595 if I would have taken that small overnight position, but I would have had to have sold immediately at the market open. It did get a low as 1571, or here 1570. It did bounce back, but now it's fading. Again, the problem is that this thing just needs to have volume or some kind of news so this thing can really uptrend. ISWH, it's a new one. This one can't qualify for a morning panic bounce plays. I just did not see this one. It did break the high from this level back here, so that's pretty impressive. Right now it's just a watch. It can do whatever it wants today. It might be the top today, who knows. And I will definitely consider it if it does a morning panic bounce play. This one was the dip towards VWAP. 115. It did get back to the 130s rather quickly. Very speculative trade. I would have only have traded 100 shares, which would have been a small size, because it is a higher priced OTC. And I would have traded this if it were to have touched VWAP again, because that's a bit too gradual. I like a nice and quick dip towards that level, which it happened right here, a little too quick actually. But yeah, that's all I have right now. There's nothing really I'm too interested in trading. I'll just be looking for any stocks that I might have missed and are uptrending right now. Alright, it is 10:40. I want to make an update. I think the markets are overall kind of dry. I was, maybe I could have pushed myself to have traded around here at 170 because it was somewhat looking like a confirmed breakout over this level. When it failed here, then it broke past it and it started to hold it, and it did get as high as 176, but it is on its 4th day, which is a bit sketchy, and it did fail shortly after, and now it's trading all ugly with a spread, so it's probably not a trade I'm interested in anymore. It's probably no more setups. This one was kind of impressive. ELIO, I wouldn't have traded this down here because it could have just faded. We've seen a lot of these that just have a nice big green day, and then at the end of the day half of it is a wick. So I wouldn't have traded any of this. I am kind of surprised this one worked a lot nicer. This was just a quick, sketchy, day trading, scalpy looking dip towards VWAP, but this is what I'm more interested in. But it wasn't the first dip towards VWAP, so it's not, at least according to what I see, as likely that it could have done something like this. But clearly this one trades with a tiny float because it likes to move with a lot of range. It's nothing that I'm interested in. It could break the day high and continue the uptrend, but a lot of these that continue to end up being the 5, 6, maybe 2,000% winner or whatever, a lot of them never touch VWAP, and this one has already touched it and it's went under it, so maybe it won't really do something like that. LKNCY, I guess, was an inverse head and shoulders, shoulder, head, shoulder, but I wouldn't have traded this either. This one's kind of weird. It doesn't trade with the best range. PBYA broke this level at 125, and now it's down here. Is this thing going to make a real morning panic? I guess a later morning panic bounce play. I don't know. I'd rather it try to hold itself together and make something really nice. Maybe tomorrow if it breaks this 12 level, which seems to be a nice level of support that it could break through. That might allow it to be something nice, kind of like DPLS was the other day, because it also broke an important level right here at what is this, 10 pennies, right, when it broke that, and it made a nice one yesterday. Today is not really that nice, especially when you compare it to the price action it had the other day. So ideally maybe it can do a break below 12 tomorrow. That wouldn't be so bad. That's really all I have. There's nothing else that I'm really that interested in. I guess I did learn this with RGBP. I've never really thought of it this way, but look at this downtrend. I can't buy this thing because the thing with Charles Schwab and their whatever, their pink no information, I don't know, they need to update their list. Maybe I can take a trade now. Let's just see. I probably can't. I think I tried Monday and it wasn't successful. Let's just do one tiny share at, alright, let's do 10 so it's not like nothing. Yeah, I can't place orders with this, but this was like a red to green move. So right here is a closing line. It might be hard to see, but the closing line was right here at 319. It had a panic, didn't get high enough, made up a higher low, broke past it, right? Then when it kind of dipped here and it started holding it, it actually held on to it and made a nice move. I would have never have really have thought of something like this, and maybe this is a setup I can develop and get better at, but this was something kind of new that I learned from the, what is it called, the breakouts and breakdowns chat room. So that's something I'll just look at, and I think everybody who was in this trade, I was just looking to see how they were going to trade something like this to learn from it. A lot of them got out down here, but it actually made a move later. I don't know if that's just something that's not too common, but yeah, there's probably no more trades today unless something really amazing shows up, and it's possible, but I don't think there will. At least it doesn't seem like it. I'll make an update later. Alright, it is 5:34 and I'm here to call it off. Today was a whopping super duper profitable $1 and what is this, 81 cents, just something ridiculously small, and it was a really degenerate setup with PBYA. I bought at 1255 and I sold at 126 because once I got in the trade, morning panic bounce play, in theory, I said to myself, this is not a really good setup, right? Because VWAP was right there. I think it was even, at the time, I think VWAP was 127. Yeah, although it kind of, 127, maybe 128. And I'm in at 126, or 120.55, so right in the middle between 125 and 126. And I thought, alright, we just had a red candle too. Maybe this is going to be the day where it actually breaks lower. And I sold the next candle, this green candle. It's still kind of visible there. It did get as high as 129. I don't know how easy or hard that would have been to sell there. This thing looks like a beautiful head and shoulders. The shoulder obviously being here at this 1.6 level. That would have been kind of cool. I've said this before, I really look forward to the day that I am able to short sell again. And I will try not to destroy the PDT rule and accidentally trade my short selling accounts on accident, so I end up breaking the PDT. I don't want to do that anymore. I would love to be short a stock like this PBYA that has a head and shoulders. Doesn't really show it here. It does show it here a bit clearer, and right here looks super obvious. It's very common that a lot of these, try to perk back, and then they just, it makes a really nice short. One that I can really think of, I think, is LTNC, where it had this move, drops, and then it tops around here, red day, way off of the EMA 4. That was nice, very consistent red action right here, although maybe a little sketchy with this price movement here and there. And then a lot of these little tiny perks, they also seem to be super profitable as well. PBYA, if you look here, it just keeps downtrending. It's something I really look forward to. ELIO, I could have considered the dip towards VWAP here. I did see it here when it was already happening. I was a bit late there. Would not have traded this. It kind of faded off. Not the best volume. LKNCY looking a little sketchy, but it's still holding above its highs. It just needs volume and a price action, or it's not very likely going to do something. I think ISWH doesn't look very nice. It's not really holding itself, but this can be a morning panic bounce play setup if it looks clean tomorrow. Maybe an inverse head and shoulders here, but that would have been midday, kind of sketchy, not the best volume again. That's really all I got. This one was super nice. It worked out nicely. This is something I can try. I couldn't trade this because I can't with my broker, but this was a red or green move, It went red, but as a higher low, started to hold this level. This is something where I could have really tried to go long, a large size too, and just really hold and wait for higher lows to form, or if it does a lower low or a lower high, whatever. It did kind of top around here where it wasn't making consistently, nicer higher highs. Here's a high. This one's higher, 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 and then it kind of just started to not really do that much, right? Maybe it can downtrend tomorrow. Maybe it can try more to perk back up. I really don't know. Another one that isn't too bad, IOUS. This one kind of broke out of that range. Is a new one. Didn't really uptrend too nicely. It did touch VWAP and actually go below it. But yeah, I look forward to tomorrow. In theory, I could have traded RGBP, trying that red to green setup, which is super nice because it's not just nice in terms of the daily, not daily, intraday, but also the daily, because it just had these consistently, red days, and it could do some kind of reversal. Maybe it doesn't, but it went up 19% off of that green, red to green price action right here. And I think that's pretty cool. 31 to 38. Nice and gradual. I look forward to tomorrow. I think a lot of good lessons. Degenerate, PBYA, morning panic bounce play. I look forward to shorting, and I look forward to the setups tomorrow if we have any. Definitely feeling a lot better compared to yesterday. And yeah, I'm thankful to God. I'll just make an update, you know, tomorrow, I look forward to tomorrow. I think a pretty good day overall.